Welcome back to Spoiler Alert. This week we have special guest Paul Adelstein from Private Practice. He's here with some Charlotte and Cooper scoop and also the script from the finale. We're going to share a few pages with us. A little Walking Dead chatter and also another edition of Spoiler Alert Theater. Welcome, Paul. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Mr. Mitovich, thank
Glad
you for
to be
joining
here.
us again. Last week's episode, Charlotte and Cooper seemed to get over this rough patch a little bit and had mad, passionate sex at the end.
You were everything to me. You were everything I want. You were everything I need.
And Matt, you noticed some flying shrapnel in the scene.
Well, not to immerse ourselves into the craft of filmmaking, but I was just curious. So when Charlotte rips open the blouse, the buttons that go flying, were those the actual blouse buttons, or do you have like a teamster crouched down,
have you ever
throwing
met
them
Mark
at you?
Tinker? Mark Tinker, who is our showrunner and who directs a lot of the episodes, I think that was his idea to show how mad and passionate sex was. I think originally it was written that we started up against a wall, that she pushed me up against the wall, but there's really no walls in Cooper's apartment, so that we didn't know what to do. So he came up with that idea, and she did either loosen the buttons or tighten them or something that makes them pop. So they did one take of that. But then when it was on my side, he just stood off camera and threw buttons at my face for like 10 minutes, which he got a really perverse pleasure out of. So, I mean, I enjoyed it.
And the next original episode is March 15th, and you directed that one. So can you tell us a little bit about what happens in that episode for Charlotte and Cooper?
Katie told me, quote unquote, the most emotional episode of the season, that at the table read, a box of Kleenex was being passed around.
It was a brutal table read. And that rarely, it's happened to us a couple times. It happened to us early on. And then, we're not jaded. We love the table reads, but they're usually kind of fun affairs. That one was brutal. So what happens is a lot of the personal storylines of the cast come to a head. Okay. So the stuff with Sam and Corinne comes to a head. Something goes down with Erica and Mason and Charlotte and Cooper. That comes to a head. The Amelia news comes to a head. There was no guest cast in the episode other than
the chameleon-like Anika Noni Rose.
Chameleon-like and totally amazing Anika Noni Rose, and one other person who I won't mention.
Oh, interesting. What can you say about the Charlotte Cooper story in that episode?
They're on a certain path together, and things are going well. And then a huge bomb gets dropped in the middle of it.
Oh, wow.
Something really big happens, and they have to pivot and deal with that. It's an emergency situation.
I know we talked to you about this at the beginning of the season when they first brought on AJ to play Erica. And, obviously everybody assumed there was just going to be some, woman from his past, storyline, triangle, angst, that whole thing. How refreshing was it that it went in this completely different direction?
It's been just great. And, I think what Shonda does so beautifully is she puts people on the show, sees what the vibe is, and then kind of decides where it's going to go from there. I mean, not that there wasn't an idea of how it was going to play out, but I think the details of it are kind of in flux a lot. And AJ just killed it, and Griffin Gluck, who plays Cooper's son, has just been killing it, and they've just been great additions to the cast.
And directing the second time around, anything you learned from the first time, course corrections?
I was much more nervous the second time around. I think you look back and you say, oh, I got lucky on this, and I got lucky on this, and oh, right, now I know what I can screw up. But it was a challenging episode because it's kind of, even though there's a lot of fireworks, it's kind of a quiet episode in its own way. So you need to find ways to keep the energy, the kind of private practice energy of it all going. Like I said, there's no outside medical storylines, so there's not the kind of crazy stuff you're used to seeing.
So now soon Private Practice is going to lose its time slot to Shonda's new show, Scandal, starring your wife, Liza Weil. Does that cause some tension at home?
No, none. I'm very excited about that show, and I think it's probably a great match with Grey's, and we'll see how we do on Tuesdays. We're excited.
We're going to pause here for a second because we have, I don't know if you're familiar with this segment called Spoiler Alert Theater.
No,
we have
I'm terrified.
two Shakespearean-trained actors who have come in to perform an upcoming scene from the TV show Justified. So we're going to cut away to that right now. Let's take a look.
Do you know you're in violation of a federal court order?
Deputy, didn't your mother teach you to knock?
Why, yes. Yes, she did. She also taught me how to shoot. And then my Uncle Sam, he gave me this. And this is my knock. Now, is your boss around?
Do you see my boss around?
I do not. But I'm guessing that he was here. And then he left. And then you stayed to paint the walls.
Wow. You can't go wrong with your dope.
He's got that ice-cold, remorseless, bottle blonde bag killer doing his scut work.
Deputy, are you accusing me of being a fake blonde? Because if you need me to prove it to you, I might be inclined to break you over that stepladder, ride you down like a teaser pony, and paint this room an entirely different color.
Now that is the Win Duffy I remember.
Whoa.
Wow. That, I mean,
Classic Justified.
yeah. Now, compared to the episode of Private Practice that you just directed,
That blows. I mean,
Yeah.
I actually.
That is a
I
bomb,
think
Paul.
I
That's
need
a
to
bomb.
get back in the editing room because now I'm put to horrible shame now.
so you're in town, New York, promoting your new album.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
My band's called Doris, and the album's called All the Details. You can get it at dorismusic.net. And played a couple of morning shows. I did The View yesterday, and we gave away the CD, which was nice of them to do. Did some Sirius XM interviews yesterday and today, and yeah, it's going well.
I heard it's very Elvis Costello /
Randy Newman,
Randy Newman-esque,
kind
yeah.
of whiskey-soaked piano songs, but definitely rock and roll.
Is there going to be a next season of Private Practice? Are you feeling confident about that?
I do feel confident about it, but you know, in this atmosphere, in this environment, it's just everything's a coin flip. I mean, I'm certainly not banking on it, but we're certainly hoping, and the numbers seem strong, and boy, there's a lot of stories to tell.
So you're hoping it will live on. Mm-hmm. Segue.
To Walking Dead, which just had a big episode this past Sunday. Are you a fan? Sarah
am a
Wayne
fan.
Callies is.
I know, she's killing it.
Well, there's a big episode that just aired on Sunday, which was I felt like the best of the season.
Brother, if I could take it all back, I would.
Almost felt like a two-person play between
Yeah.
Shane and Rick,
was
which
just the two of them
AMC
for
does a
most-
lot of those episodes where it's just the two actors for almost an entire hour.
Breaking Bad did that with the
Yes.
Fly episode. I just watched that.
And
that
The
was
Killing did
amazing.
it too. And this, I feel like, is another one that lives up to sort of that tradition. Really powerful, some good zombie stuff.
My only quibble was they would then switch away from the Shane Rick stuff to that story back at the house with the gal who was in shock, who we've never really met.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble really caring about why she's in shock. What
I
her
don't
issues
even know who
are.
she is.
Right. Beth. Her name is Beth or Betsy or something.
Yeah, I liked this episode too because I felt like they were going too much in the direction of making Shane just into this sort of one-dimensional evil guy, and I felt like at the end he felt a little bit more sort of balanced.
And you know, the show gets compared to Lost, and the one thing I'm missing with Walking Dead is, at least as of late, everybody's fighting with each other. Everybody's arguing with each other. You know, and sure, Jack and Locke would do that on Lost, but there were also alliances. There were also, you know, softer moments between people, and that just has not been on The Walking Dead as of late. We need to start seeing these people bonding again instead of always clashing.
Now zombies, which brings us back to the Private Practice finale.
Zombies.
And the scene that you brought along. Tell us about it.
Everyone in the practice is killed but Cooper. And then he has to fight off Zombie Sam, Zombie Addison, and Zombie Violet in the season finale.
You got that approved by Shonda to bring that scoop to us today.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Do you want to see the clip?
I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping they didn't switch out the clips and give us something different.
That's right. I hope so. I hope what they didn't do is give you like two Shakespearean actors doing Justified. That'd be embarrassing.
Paul, thank you so much for coming
My
by.
pleasure.
Now we're going to pretend like we're talking as the credits roll.
Oh, really?